Hello everyone, I'm Santiago, and today I'm gonna be testing Mass Effect Andromeda on the Geforce GTX 750 Ti. For FPS monitoring, I'll be using CAM. If you want to learn how to use it, click on the top right corner of the video where the CAM logo is, or check the description below if you want to learn more. So Mass Effect Andromeda, I'll be doing 1080p, 900p and 720p. To skip none of those sections of the video, check the description below. One thing to keep in mind, I overclocked the GTX 750 Ti. There's a link in the description on how to overclock it if you want to check that out, and also the core memory clocks if you were wondering. And 1080p was playable, but I had to lower the settings quite a lot in order to get 30 frames per second. Then at 900p I could crank up the settings a little bit more and get 30s again, and then at 720p I managed to use even higher settings at 900p, which was to be expected, but I also tried to get 60 frames per second on 720p low, and it was possible to hit that target every now and then, but it was between 45 and 60. It wasn't 60s all the time, but it was way smoother. I didn't test the i5-7400 with the 750 Ti since it was struggling to hit 60 frames per second, the GPU itself, so a better CPU didn't make a difference at all, since the bottleneck was the GPU, not the CPU in this case, so keep that in mind. If you want 60 frames per second, you need a superior GPU. But now I'm going to talk to you about some of the issues I ran into and about the options menu. So some important things that I should mention. First of all, I got a lot of stuttering issues with this game when I played it on stream, and I noticed that the game uses a lot of hard drive, so in order to remedy the stuttering on the cutscenes and outside the cutscenes when the game was loading or when just moving around in the open world, you should close as many applications in the background as possible, so your hard drive is used mostly by your game instead of your background programs. And I also disabled some of the Windows 10 features that Microsoft uses to get information from you. A tutorial on how to disable them down in the description from the channel benchart, which worked for me. It fixed the stuttering, at least in a big amount. And I'm using the latest drivers, the game ready drivers for Mass Effect Andromeda on all the cards I'm testing. And the place I chose for the testing is a place with a lot of foliage, rain, shadows from, I don't know, from the sun or moon. I'm not sure about that planet, if it has a sun or a moon, plus shadows generated by the flashlight that I'm using in the game. So it should be a good stress test. This was the worst performance I was able to get. Then in the options menu there is an option called frame buffer format. I noticed that choosing compressed had the best performance, so I didn't notice a difference between them, so I'm not sure what it is, but by using compressed the game looks fine and the performance is better. Then the first thing I recommend lowering is lighting. It's a big performance hit. It seems to control the reflections and some other things that I'm not sure about, but mostly reflections, screen space reflections. To disable screen space reflections, you need to keep lighting on low. If you keep it on medium or higher, there will be screen space reflections. That's a big hit to the frame rate. So if you want higher frame rates, lowering lighting to low should be your best bet. Then the others don't do much of a difference overall. It all depends on the area, just like on Battlefield 1. A lot of options don't really change the performance that much, but if you lower them in groups, it can help. I mean, occlusion, shadows, shaders, anti-aliasing and mesh quality, if you lower those together, it should be a decent boost in the frame rate. And then the small boost overall in the frame rate was by lowering vegetation and terrain, but again, it depends on where you are. If you're not in a place with a lot of foliage, the vegetation option won't do much to the frame rate, but if you have an i3-6100 or a G4560, I suggest lowering mesh quality. It helps a little with the CPU usage. And finally, with the texture quality, we have ultra, high, medium, low, all that kind of stuff as usual, but this time high is enough for 2GB video cards. So if you have a 2GB video card, high textures seems to be enough, and ultra textures for 4GB and beyond, it seems to be enough. So keep that in mind. But yeah guys, that's pretty much it. I hope you keep enjoying the video. Thanks for watching and see you next time.
Don't consume anything you see. Not in this area.
Thanks, Jarl.
Enemies!
Headshot!
Thanks, y'all.